Frankfurt. The first documentary mention of the city of Frankfurt from the year 794 is documented in a deed of gift from Charlemagne as Franconofurt. Through an eventful history since the Middle Ages, the formerly free imperial city became a crossroads for European trade routes. In addition, Frankfurt was the coronation site of the German emperors for centuries. Today, the main metropolis is one of the most important European financial and trading centers, not least due to its central location in Europe. Over the past 50 years, Frankfurt am Main has developed into Germany's most important financial center and the second most important in Europe after London. The overview from the main tower. The main tower in Frankfurt is the fourth tallest skyscraper in Germany with its 200 meters height, 240 meters to the top of the mast. It was built between 1996 and 1999 and inaugurated on January 28, 2000. Its structural facilities are housed in 5 basement floors and 56 upper floors. At a height of 192 meters and at a height of 198 meters, there are 2 viewing platforms open to the public, which can be accessed for a fee. The lower platform is specially equipped for people with limited mobility. The 53rd floor contains a restaurant open to the public. In addition, the 53rd and 54th floors house Europe's highest fitness studio. Other tenants in the main tower include various law firms and the federal state bank Hessian. Hessian Broadcast also had a television studio here until October 2015. From here, the tabloid magazine, Main Tower, was broadcast every weekday since January 15, 2001. In addition, the lottery numbers were drawn here every Saturday from April 2 to June 29, 2013. The attacks of September 11, 2001 led to tighter security measures, with the result that the viewing platforms, which are open to the public, were closed to the public for several months. This period of closure was used to install a security gate of the type commonly used at airports. The Römerberg landmark. The Römerberg, as the city hall of the city of Frankfurt am Main, has represented its old town center since the High Middle Ages. It extends eastward from the so-called Domensel, Cathedral Island, to its western boundary at the Carmeliter Hügel, Carmelite Hill. Its highest elevation, the Samstagberg, is 4 meters above the lower-lying depressions that extend between its neighboring elevations. Even at the beginning of the Middle Ages, these depressions were marshy or formed the bed for small watercourses. The house with the name, Zum Römer, got its name from the fact that it has served as Frankfurt's city hall since the 15th century. Since then, major historical events, such as imperial coronations, have also taken place here. But Römerberg is also the entrance to other events, such as Frankfurt fairs and the Frankfurt Christmas market. During World War II, the historic buildings of Römerberg were largely destroyed during air raids on Frankfurt in 1944. In the eastern part of the Römerberg, the Samstagberg, the historic row of buildings was restored or replaced by original new buildings in the 1950s and 1980s. Today, the Römerberg is a popular tourist attraction. St. Paul's Church, the historical place steeped in history. Today, Frankfurt's St. Paul's Church serves people as a memorial and exhibition space and is also still used as a meeting place. After the demolition of the medieval Church of the Barefoot in 1786, the Frankfurt St. Paul's Church was built on the same site from 1789 to 1833. On March 18, 1944, St. Paul's Church, like other surrounding structures, fell victim to an air raid and burned out. St. Paul's Church was the first historic building in Frankfurt to be rebuilt after World War II. However, one was limited to a very simplified interior construction, while the exterior appearance today is almost identical to its silhouette before the destruction. The reopening of St. Paul's Church as the House of All Germans was on May 18, 1948, exactly on the centenary of the First German National Assembly. This First German National Assembly in 1848 took place as a result of the German Revolution. Until 1944, St. Paul's Church was the main Protestant church in Frankfurt, although this function is now performed by St. Catherine's Church. Shoppingtime on the Zeil. Frankfurt's Zeil is a well-known and high-turnover shopping street in the northern city center of the main metropolis. Since the end of the 19th century, it has developed into the highest turnover shopping street in all of Germany. The Zeil runs from the Friedberger Anlage at the Uhrturmchen and passes through the Wallenlagen in a southwesterly direction until it branches off at Bright Gas. After a bend, the further course is west through the Court district. The end of the Zeil at the intersection of Kurt Schumacher, Konrad Adenauer Strasse is also the beginning of the pedestrian zone. The annual sales value on the Zeil is an estimated 700 to 800 million euros. The Städel Museum, the treasure trove of art history. The Städel Museum, one of the most important art museums in the world, is located directly on the banks of the Main. It was founded as a civic foundation by the banker and merchant Johann Friedrich Städel in 1815 and is today one of the oldest and most important museum foundations in Germany. The Städel's exhibits include works of art spanning 7 centuries. These unique paintings illustrate history from different eras and give visitors a vivid insight into the everyday culture of society. A special attraction of the Städel Museum are valuable works by Dürer, Cranach, Van Eyck, Botticelli, Rembrandt or Holbein. Works by renowned impressionists such as Monet, Renoir and Degas can also be admired here. Expressionism is represented by works of famous artists, such as Kirchner, Beckmann, Mark and Macker. Classical modernism, represented by works by Picasso, Klee and Dix, also round out the Städel Museum's rich repertoire. Distinctive feature of the Frankfurt skyline, the Messeturm. The Messeturm, exhibition tower, in Frankfurt's West End has become one of the city's unmistakable landmarks. Its 3-story pyramid top is visible as a silhouette far beyond the city limits of Frankfurt and marks the Frankfurt skyline with its unmistakable character. When it was completed in 1991, the Messeturm was the tallest building in Europe at 256.5 meters. The skyscraper was named Messeturm because of its location next to the city entrance to the exhibition grounds on Friedrich Ebert site. However, it is not used in connection with trade fair events and is not itself located on the actual trade fair grounds. The Messeturm has 63 floors and contains up to 139 workstations per floor. The total leasable area is 61,700 square meters with 1,200 square meters per floor. As a modern office building, a successful combination can be seen here from the architectural side. Exterior perfection of form and uniquely designed office worlds convey a harmony that also meets the requirements of a modern design for high-rise office buildings. Frankfurt from the perspective of water. A trip to Frankfurt am Main should definitely include a boat trip on the Main River. The view of the Main metropolis from the water gives the visitor unforgettable impressions, because the perspective from the water makes Frankfurt appear from a particularly beautiful side. The boat trip in itself is associated with a relaxed atmosphere, which every visitor will certainly keep in a good memory. Watching the historical sites and their urban architecture from the water becomes an unforgettable experience. Moreover, tourists have the opportunity to participate in sightseeing tours offered by boat guides. Destinations of these special offers are usually unknown places such as industrial and port facilities. Time of the Muse in the historic Palmengarten. In Frankfurt's Palmengarten, you can marvel at plants from all parts of the world, which make up a true plant paradise there. Visitors to the Palmengarten will find a fascinating variety from the world of botany and can marvel at them without having to travel far. The Palm House houses a large number of exotic palms, ferns and giant perennials. The Tropicarium is another attraction of the plant world and faithfully reproduces tropical landscapes such as savanna, cloud desert and monsoon rainforest. But also the flora from temperate and cooler regions of the southern hemisphere has found an artificial home in the subantarctic house through climatic recreation. Ebbelwoi is the national drink of Hesse. In the Frankfurt area, in southern and central Hesse and in lower Franconia, apple wine is also called Ebbelwoi, 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 or Stoffjay. As a protected geographical indication, Hessischer Apfelwein, Hessian apple wine, is not a traditional name. Rather, it is an artificial name whose introduction dates back to the 1980s. At that time, large wine presses had introduced this artificial name for advertising purposes. The cider is made with a mixture of different acidic apples, which are pressed and fermented into fruit wine. After production, this cider has an alcohol content of 5 to 7% by volume. A little refreshment with the Frankfurt green sauce. After an extensive visit program and after admiring many sights, it is only a natural need to do something for the physical well-being. For this purpose, a hearty meal with an original Frankfurt green sauce is a good choice. Fresh jacket potatoes and hard-boiled eggs with this green sauce is a side dish or a delicacy for the gourmet. This green sauce is prepared with curly parsley, chives, sorrel, borage, cress, chervil, burnet, 2 boiled eggs and 500 grams of sour cream or creme fraiche and soured milk. These ingredients are mixed according to taste.